What is up, friends? Rob here, the Medicare minister, and I'm back with a brand new Spitting Fire leadership podcast for all of you. And today I have the one and only Mr. Cody Askins. Cody, will you say hey to everyone real quick?
What's up? What's up? What's up, dude? That's the way you kick off a freaking interview, with some energy, man. I love it.
Yeah, man, I love it. I'm bringing some passion, energy. I know Cody's going to spit some serious fire today. But before we dive into that, I want to remind all of you to please comment, like, subscribe below. Please turn on your notifications so that way you're alerted every time we drop fresh content like this. And listen, this is why I do this. I interview top leaders like this because I want you to see this for yourself, that you deserve to win. And I pray that this puts fresh wind in your sails and helps you keep going after your dreams, because I truly believe that you were made on purpose for a purpose. So Cody, thank you so much for being on once again. I know you're a busy guy, and I'm humbled that you would come on this podcast and just share, spit some fire with us today.
Dude, I love the name of the podcast. I love you and what you're doing. You're a good dude and a great dude to be around. You're a phenomenal example for a lot of people. I love your heart, and I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely. Well, listen, what I always do when we kick this off is, obviously I know you, and a lot of people that are going to watch this know you, but can you give us that Sports Center highlight version of Cody Askins' life, maybe a little backstory, some transition into what you're doing now?
Yeah, so I got started when I was 19 as an intern, 20 when I was a full-time agent. I made from cold calling and cold door knocking to sell life insurance with no leads while I was in college playing basketball and taking a bunch of credits in college. I made $117,000 my first 8 months, fell in love with the business. My dad's been in the business 32 years. I sold for several years. And now, and then December of 2015, I started putting up videos on YouTube. We've almost got 2,000 videos up on YouTube now. We just hit 50,000 agents subscribed to our channel. It's kind of funny. Like, a lot of people that do really cool things, they never expected it to get to the level it got to. And I definitely didn't expect it so fast. Also too, though, successful people think they haven't really arrived and they're not really doing anything big, even though sometimes they actually are, but they don't personally feel that way. Right. So then people started to resonate with the content. They reached out. People seem to like my energy, a lot like yours. And now we have multiple companies. We have Secure Agent Marketing. We have Secure Insurance Group, the actual agency. We have Cody Askins. We have 8% Nation. We have Askins Financial. We have the storage unit. We're buying a go-kart track. Like, we got too much to name, but I'm having a lot of fun along the way.
Yeah. Well, talking about energy, that's one of the things that really I've enjoyed being around you, because you bring energy. And I believe that we're infecting people with something, whether we realize it or not. Right.
100%.
And you're one of those people that infects people with passion and inspiration and your energy. But one of the things I wanted to touch on real quickly, because one of the things I love about your story is you go back to the cold calling, making that your first year. But at the same time, you begin to transition to something different, right? Yeah. And that was, in my opinion, from what I've seen, and I would love for you to talk about this, but I believe that in finding your ultimate purpose, that there was nothing wrong with being an insurance agent.
Yes.
But I think you, as 8%, Cody Askins, and your entire team really fill in two big gaps when it comes to the insurance agency. One is the mindset and motivation. You guys do that very well. And the second is the marketing, the lead generation side with Secure Agent Marketing. So I want to talk just for a minute, if you will expound on us, really what it takes to say, okay, I can do the insurance agent thing. And a lot of people would have just settled for that. But you took a risk and you bet on yourself to even take it to the next level. Can you talk about that transition from insurance agent to being what you are now?
Yeah, I grew up watching my grandfather as a Baptist pastor. I'm hanging out with the Medicare minister, so this is fitting. And I saw him preaching at 10 years old, and I'm like, this is cool sitting down here listening to you, Pawpaw, as I would call him.
Right.
But it'd be even cooler to be up there doing what you're doing, right? Speaking, impacting, making a difference. And I was always enamored with that. My dad was also moving his way up into management. along the way before we started Secure. And I was always, enamored by that and building a team. I also had managers reaching out to me along the way as I was an early agent saying, hey, you're doing well. We've got agents that are, eating ramen and barely surviving. Can you come help them actually get to another level? And I enjoyed driving and helping other agents. I even had a local mentorship program. I've never talked about this. I even had a local mentorship program in the back of the office with about a dozen agents here in Springfield that I grew over a couple of months. And that was back in early 2016. And I just always enjoyed helping other agents make money more than I enjoyed making a sell myself, And I'm glad you bring it up because there's a lot of people that would say, well, Cody's not actually selling insurance anymore. What does he know? Or Cody's not focused on scaling a massive agency. What does he know? Even though Secure is actually pretty good size now.
Sure.
And I've been a big part of that, even though my dad's been a bigger part of that, hands down. But dude, I think people need to stop worrying about everybody else thinks, right? So there's something called OPO, other people's opinions.
Sure.
I don't care. I'm to the point now in life, I don't care what everybody else thinks. Like I'm going to do what is going to help the most amount of people and what I truly want to do. Do I want to go back to selling insurance? Dude, I don't. I really don't. And I've got a chance to make a massive impact and a legacy on this industry. And it doesn't involve me selling insurance physically,
Yeah. No, I love what you're saying, man. And listen, if you're watching this today, quit worrying about being everyone else's flavor. It's okay not to be everyone's flavor. That's what Cody's saying today. Yes. But I love this part too, Cody, because a lot of people would have just settled for the insurance agent. There's nothing wrong with that because I'm an insurance agent, obviously. Correct. But I'm like you. Like, I know this is not the ultimate thing for me, selling Medicare and life insurance, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm using this to fund the ultimate mission and purpose. What does it take to really say, you know what, this is good, but I know there's something better for me, right? What kind of mindset do you have to take that risk?
Yeah, it's a risk, right? Like you're saying, it's also scary. Like you've always heard, for everything to change, we got to change, right? If it's meant to be, it's up to me. Like we hear all these things. Well, we've also heard that growth comes when you're outside of your comfort zone. Yeah. And so I really woke up in 2015, 2016, 2017 and was like, man, I'm bored out of my mind. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of people like scaling, growing one company. It's just not my style. Most people don't want to get up in front of 1,000 people and speak. I do. Most people don't want 100 staff across multiple companies. I do. Like most people want an easy, simple life. I don't, so it takes it takes figuring out what you want and then truly going after it. Like we started 8% Nation July, really kicked it up, really released it July of 2018. And we did the conference like 90 days later. The conference was the biggest risk I've ever taken. We spent $500,000 our first year on an event. Most people never do that. So I want to ask someone, like, if you know what your ultimate calling is, your purpose, your passion, what you really want to do, why? We only have one life. Time is our most valuable asset. Why wait? Right? Like, why wait?
Yeah. And as obviously a coach yourself, a motivational speaker, putting on events, and the people that you've coached, your students, if you will, what is one huge barrier that people, excuse or one big challenge that they have in their life that keeps them from answering that question? Is it just the way I was brought up? Is it the culture? Yeah. Is it scarcity mindset? What do you see in your professional opinion?
Yeah, it's a lack of money. It's a lack of belief. It's caring about everybody else's opinion. A lot, how we were raised has a big part of it. I've got a leg up and an advantage over most people, and I'm not afraid to admit it. Because my dad and my parents poured confidence into me and believed in me. And even they were even telling me I was going to make $100,000 before I even started selling insurance. Like, you will make $100,000 your first year. I'm like, wow. Wait, me? Are you sure? Like that's powerful. That's the kind of people you want to surround yourself with, And I mean, I don't even think of myself as a coach, but I have helped dozens of people making six figures double their company inside of like a year. Right. And so most people would say, well, Cody's not actively selling. What does he know? Dude, you want to think bigger and get to another level. There's nobody better in the industry currently with more actual proof with pudding on how to do those things than me. And it's not because I feel like I'm this guru or this coach. It's because I have a way. What I really do all I'm doing, I don't have all the secrets, right? I don't have all the nuggets. I don't have all the information. I'd be lying if I said I did. What I really do is wake people up. I wake people up. I give them, I make them think bigger. I wake them up, and before they know it, they're doing a heck of a lot more and striving for a lot more and going for a lot more than they ever were before we met. And a lot of it, I'm asking questions. I'm getting the info out of their brain. They're giving me all the answers. I'm just asking the right questions and then pushing them to take some action. That's it.
And is one of the ways that you're getting people to wake up is the event? Is that why 8% was started? Is one way main way to hit more agents, to hit more people in this industry, to wake them up, so to speak?
Yes. Events have woke me up better than anything else. And I'm not just saying that because we do the event. I go to a bunch of events. Everybody sees it. Like I just paid 10 grand to go to the Vault conference with Patrick Bet-David. Like I go to events. I don't think anybody goes to other outside of industry events more than me. And well, some would say, dude, you're crazy busy. Well, we find time for what we really want in life, right? If we want to scale an event, if we want to, grow our agency, we'll find time to get in the room. And getting in the room has impacted my life. And I can't even give enough credit. I really can't.
So let me ask you this, and staying with the power events, this lane here for a second. What is the biggest breakthrough, or let's use the word paradigm shift, that you've experienced personally from an event? Do you mind sharing that?
Yeah. So for example, there's been a few, but one I made $40,000 January of 2018. I go to 10X. I pay 15 grand to go to 10X. Some would say it was dumb. I don't know. You tell me. Does it look dumb now? Right. Then I go to 10X February of 2018, and it wakes me up. Like I'm in a room. It's easy for us to get like arrogant and egotistical and like show off and brag and like think we're all that and box of crackers. And I can tell you, I'm doing okay back then. This has been 3.5 years ago. It feels like a lot longer than 3.5 years ago, but it's only 3.5 years. And I get in a room with people that are like, dude, I did 200 million this year. What did you do? And I'm like, wait, say that again.
Right.
I'm like, I thought I was actually kind of cool, but dude, I am nothing. I got to pick this thing up. And so that's a paradigm, right? That's why you get in the room, because anytime you think you're dominating and doing enough, you could do more. That's really the message. And then two, it told me our industry is boring. It's old fashioned. Most events are horrible. You want to fall asleep at most conferences. Right. I'm like, why isn't our industry fun? Why isn't it a concert and a conference and you know what I mean? Like, why not? Right. So that's why I'm like, dude, so our industry needs something like this. And so we rolled that out. I'm still shocked I did it. But a lot of times, here's what I ask myself. I remember asking myself back in like May, June-ish of like 2018. Here's what I ask myself. I think most people ask themselves this, but maybe I ask it a different way. Is when I think about doing something really big, like 8%, I ask myself, I don't say, could I pull it off? Right? Because most of us, we always could. Like we really can. Right. We can pull off anything. I say, if I were to pull it off, what would the rest of my life look like? And I had to resoundingly say, man, if I can pull this off, everything will be different. I will speak all over the country. I will help tens of thousands of people every single year. I will connect with the top people in the industry. We will expand our team, which means we'll help more people locally. We'll do more revenue, which means we can give more to charity and do go-kart tracks and other fun stuff, whatever, right? Start foundations, which we want to do. That's the answer. So it's not like the one question and the one answer. It's the question of what would the rest of your life look like, big concept. And then there's all these other variations of answers along the way. And so there's a lot more like for example, when my wife and I were we just bought 9 acres with a go-kart track and putt-putt course and all this here in Springfield, Missouri. And we're going to actually build the office on the other 4.5 acres on the other side, hopefully, maybe a gym, all kind of stuff. Well, I say that because most people would see 9 acres and they would have wanted to literally demolition the carts and the tracks and the putt-putt and all that.
Sure.
Or they think I'm just getting some land with a small business. I'm seeing culture. I'm seeing retreats. I'm seeing a 5-story office tower on the other side of the land. I'm seeing a gym. I'm seeing food trucks. I'm seeing pickleball courts. I'm seeing a conference facility in the building. Like, most people see one thing, right? You have to look and see what else could actually do with this. And then your brain starts moving and ideas start happening. And before you know it, you end up doing something a lot bigger than you thought you would.
Why do you think so many people struggle to see that way? Like, was that something that you were born with? Is that something that maybe there was a breakthrough for you? Is that something you just cultivated in your life?
It came along the way. Back in so for example, here's a really good example. We bought the storage unit behind us, CA climate controlled storage. I could have bought that back in 2019 for less money. I could have probably saved myself $100,000.
Sure.
Okay. At the time, you don't know what you don't know. I didn't understand real estate. I said, that's a dumb investment. It's overpriced. I don't get it. Well, I just didn't understand. Right. I didn't realize, okay, this is like, for example, I pay $512,500 now. Could have bought it for probably $400 back then. I didn't realize it's going to appreciate. It's in a great part of town. The land is worth at least that, if not more already. It's already profitable. I could fill it. We're about 2/3 full. I could fill it and flip it for an extra 50% or an extra or double what I paid. I didn't understand all that back then. Well, in business, you don't understand everything, but you put yourself out there. You look to learn all the time. And then these fun things start happening along the way. And then you look back and you're like, man, was I dumb? And that's going to happen again. I'm going to look back in 3 years, 2 years, 1 year and be like, man, was I dumb? You know?
Yeah, no, I love what you're saying, because one of my favorite quotes by Inky Johnson, who I know has been at 8%, he says to fall more in love with the process than the guarantee. That it takes true courage to really fall in love with the process, but too many of us get married to the guarantee. And I believe risk takers like you, myself, and others, obviously we don't do it just blindly, but we're willing to take the risk because we see something that could really be there. And it sounds like you possess that same gift.
Yeah. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that.
Yeah. And so I love that about you. Back to the power events real quickly. I was writing down some benefits at some events, and I'd love to hear your feedback on this, because you're an event guy. 8% has made an impact in my life as well.
Thank you.
Number one is it changes you and your biz in a short amount of time. It's amazing to me how many people don't come to events because it really does collapse timeframes. You can accelerate, shortcut, if you want. I use that word loosely, but I think we all know what we're talking about. You and your biz. I know that the ones that I've been to, it's helped me grow at a faster speed. Would you agree with that?
Yes. And most people only account the speed up of their business. They only relate it to the exact information that they extract from the speakers. They think, what am I going to learn? What are you going to teach me? What exactly am I going to take away, or I'm not going? Well, what's funny is I was at, I was at an event. I was at the Vault. I got to sit by one of the top dudes with PHP on a charter bus for 30 minutes. You wouldn't believe the conversation we had. Like, I learned so much in that little 30 minutes on the way to dinner one night, is because I got in the room and nobody said anything from stage. I was on a bus, right? Like, sometimes I've learned more in elevators than I do from the speaker. Than the headline speaker sometimes, right? Like there's so many, or one somebody says one thing in a breakout, and I'm like, gosh, why didn't I think about it that way?
Right.
Like there's so many things we I don't know why, but typically we're so narrow-minded on what we're going to get out of stuff, and we're like, give me first. So for example, this is ridiculous, but I'm going to share it. I got a buddy of mine that I'm trying to get involved in the roadshow. And he's like, and I'm like, how many people can you bring? He's, and he's like, I could bring a few people, but I really just want to speak. I'm like, well, dude, I want you to speak on the roadshow. I want you to be on the panel, but I need your help. I need you to help me also get some people in some butts and seats. Sure. Help me fill the room. Well, dude, he's like, if it's contingent on me bringing people, then I'm not going to do it. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, so what you're really saying is if this is contingent on me bringing value to you, even though you're already bringing value to me first, then I'm out. That's the way most people think. Like they don't think about value first. Everything I do, I'm value first. I'm thinking already. I'm like, dude, the Medicare minister is putting me on Spit and Fire podcast, which I love, by the way. It's a really cool name. You do a great job. Phenomenal questions. I've seen a bunch of them, actually.
Thank you.
Yeah. But I'm thinking, dude, how else can I bring value to Rob?
Yeah.
I'm not sitting over thinking, dude, Rob's lucky to have me. No, dude, I'm thinking, okay, what else can I do with Rob? How else can I bring more value to Rob? And why the heck is Rob wanting to interview me? Like, that's the kind of stuff I'm asking myself. Sure. And most people are like, Rob should have interviewed me sooner. What is Rob doing interviewing 50 other people before me? Right. Well, I'm bringing value to Rob just by showing up. Like, that's not how the game works, right?
Sure. And I think that's why you're blessed. I agree, man. I'm a firm believer. I teach our agents here, lead with impact and value, and everything else will follow.
100%.
Right? Don't be egotistical, as you said. So number one, the power of events. We talked about changing you and your biz. Listen, you've got to get to events, because I promise you, Cody's living proof. I'm living proof. There's many other testimonies that are living proof that it can help accelerate you in your business. Number two, I wrote this down, Cody, was I built lifelong relationships at 8% in other conferences. Have you seen that in your own life as well?
100%. Yeah. It's really crazy. If I look at my network and the contacts in my phone, they say your network is your net worth, right? Well, let's find out. Let's see. My contacts and my network and my connections look drastically different 3 years ago. The funny thing is, if I needed to make calls and go get $1 million in a weekend 3 years ago, I probably couldn't have done it. Today, I could pick up my phone and raise $10 million in a weekend. So I don't know, is your network your net worth or not? Right? Like those, we undervalue the connections in our life, or we sit in the corner instead of going up to somebody. I just got back. I got stories for days, but I just got back from the SWAT event. I was in the airport, and there was a guy in there. His name's Jeremy Miner. He's a big sales guy, but he's local to Springfield. Julian Chambers told me about him 2 weeks ago and said, hey, you need to meet this cat. I see him on my plane. That someone's asking, sir, what's your name? And he's like, Jeremy Miner, because they were moving him to first class. I'm like, nobody asked me if I want to move to first class. Come on. But I'm like, I remember that name. So what do I do when we're in baggage claim? I go talk to the guy. The question is, you guys listening, would you go talk to the guy who's doing $10 million a year in sales training? Or would you not talk to the guy and just wait for your bag and leave? Like, we get one life. I get one chance to meet that dude. He lives in Springfield. Can I bring some value to him and help him? Yes. Can he bring some value to me and help me? Yes. Yeah. Do I just need to walk up and introduce myself? Hey, Jeremy, I'm Cody. Yeah. I heard about you from a buddy. I saw you were on the plane, man. I had to come say hello. How hard is that?
Yeah. Now, I love what you're saying. I'm reading a book right now called Ask, The Bridge from Your Dreams to Your Destiny. And the whole premise of the book is a lot of us never get to that next level because we just don't ask.
Yes.
Right. Like Cody's on this interview today because I asked.
Yeah.
Right. Cody doesn't owe me anything, but he's busy. But I asked. A lot of times we miss out on opportunities in our lives because we just don't simply ask. What does the Bible say? You have not because you ask not. Listen, if you're watching this today, this is what Cody's saying. Some of you need to stop giving VIP access to your life, to certain people in your life that don't need to have VIP access. And I love what you said, Cody, because especially someone in the ministry, they think of it as being rude when you have to purge your circle, right? Yes. And my circle's different than 3 years ago because I realize that a lot of people in ministry, no offense to those watching today, but they fall into this myth where you have to be a broke minister, that you can't make money, that you can't have the finer things in life. And I had to change my circle. And this is what Cody's saying. Listen, you need to do a regular purge and a regular audit of your circle because there are people that you're giving VIP access to that need to be sitting in the nosebleeds. Doesn't mean you don't love them. Doesn't mean they're still not your friend. Doesn't mean you don't care for them. It just means maybe they're not going the direction that you're going in this season of your life. So thank you for bringing that up, Cody.
You. I got one point really quick on that, if I can. You just mentioned something and I just heard it. So I wanted to share it. In the Bible, it says money is the root of all evil. Mm-hmm. Okay. We remember that one phrase, but I was recently told there's 37 other instances in the Bible where it relates money to wealth. But everybody wants to listen to the one part of the Bible that acts like it's bad when there's 37 other parts that acts like it's good.
Sure.
Which parts are you guys listening to out there?
Sure. No, I think that's great. I think that's a great way to put it. It's the way that we're taking it out of context, right?
Correct.
We take things out of context and we tend to take one thing and we tend to run with it. So I love what you're saying there. So number one was changing you and your business. Talk about the power of events. Number two is building lifelong relationships, joint ventures, which you're very well aware of. But number three is, I love this one, that it increases my energy. It refocuses me. It refreshes me. A phrase that I like to use is, when I go to events, it puts fresh wind in my sails, so to speak. Do you see that in your own life as well? Because as someone who's attended a lot of events?
Dude, totally. I mean, the thing with business is hard. Business is not easy. People come, people go. One day you got to wake up and it's going to be the worst day of your life. The next day it could be the best day of your life. Like when we're operating, I think my wife and I've got like, I don't know, maybe like 11 LLCs now. It's gotten nuts. Is it easy? Is my life easy? No. Do I love it? Yes. Is it really hard? Yes. Do getting around people like Rob and big time people in the industry and getting to events, does that put wind back in my sails? Yes. Do we all need that? Absolutely.
Yeah. And I can tell you, if just from, 8%, just real quickly, just to kind of give you some kudos, is I'm a big Eric Thomas guy. So I'll be honest with you, that was one of the main reasons I wanted to go, because I love the hip hop preacher. Of course, he's a preacher. I'm a minister. But, I went there just ready to learn something. And he did, and this is not throwing shade or anything like that. He didn't say anything like just super, revelatory, but there was just a couple of nuggets in his talk that I knew was a divine appointment for me to be there.
Wow.
Right. And it changed me, and it changed my business. It changed my vision. And friends, this is what Cody's talking about. A lot of times we go with the mentality that we think we know everything or we've heard it all before. And the reality, it was one or two nuggets that I took away from that conference that has changed my business. This podcast is happening because of events. I'm just telling you, the relationships that I've built, right? The circle that I've built. And so the power of events, we can't talk to enough. And I love what you're doing with 8%, Cody. And I'm so thankful that you are doing that. And I'm thank you for the industry that we're in, that you're providing so much value to us as insurance agents, because I truly believe mindset is so important. And so to kind of segue real quickly into leadership principles, what is one leadership principle that you've learned and maybe cultivated, and that you also lean into maybe every day? Let's just put it this way: every day as part of your everyday practice in your business and your personal life.
Yeah, I think one of the things that it's natural for people to think, I can do it all on my own. Leaders don't say that stuff. Leaders surround themselves with people that are better at certain tasks than they are. Leaders see ability and talent in others, and they surround themselves with that ability and talent. Leaders see people that can help grow their business, and they do whatever it takes to get them in the business. Leaders stop working in the business and they start working on the business. So I can tell you, one of the most powerful things we've done, and it's been by accident for the most part, but I'm realizing it now, is we've got people like Dylan, Brett, Cassidy, Kelly, right? Like we've got all these amazing people on our team, Derek, others, the whole marketing company, Sig, everybody else. And we've realized that we can go a lot further with a team, right? Like my wife always talks about how one Clydesdale can, pull like 12,000 pounds, 8,000 pounds, whatever, but that two can pull like 36,000 pounds, 32,000 pounds, whatever it is, right? It's like, you would think they could pull double. No, they actually end up pulling like triple or quadruple just with twice the output, twice the amount of people, right? And so that relates to business, by the way. Like you will never go far in business doing it on your own. You will never leave a legacy on an industry thinking you got all the special sauce and you're all that, and you can do it all on your own. So I can tell you, one of the biggest leadership principles that I've realized is you can't do anything. Nobody can ever do anything big alone. And I've surrounded myself with really talented people. They're smarter than me. Some of them are even better looking than me, to believe it or not. They're stronger than me, right? They
can't play basketball better than you, though. I know
they
that.
Definitely cannot do that. We haven't found anybody that can do that yet.
Right.
But,
we got two guys here in Tupelo that are bragging. They're flexing over here.
Dude, I could beat both of them with one hand behind my back. Okay.
Right.
Tell them I said that too, because I always mess with them.
I will. I'll definitely tell them. I love what you're saying. So let me ask you this. Why do so many people struggle with that? Because I know me as a former church planter, former pastor. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to raise my hand. I'm a control freak. Most type A, very dominant individuals, successful people are control freaks. Why do so many people struggle with that, A? And then B, how did you finally break free from that?
Yeah. I think a lot of people struggle with that because they feel like they have to have their hands in everything for the business to do well. They think they do things. They actually over analyze their own talent. They think that they're great at everything, when in reality, there's only three things I do every day. I promote, I connect, and I collect revenue. Like I push what we're doing, promotion. I connect with other people like you in the industry. That's valuable. And then I'm focused on helping our team collect revenue. That's it. If it's related, if it's anything else, I'm uninvolved. I'm delegating. I don't even handle it at all. Right. So I think most entrepreneurs try to do it all. I can tell you, it's just been crazy to see the transformation of everything. Like, for example, we just started, we're stripping the audio of our interviews and releasing it out as a Power Player podcast now. And we just released our first one, like, I don't know, Dylan, yesterday. And we'll have 20,000 downloads a month, probably in like 6 months. Why? Because we already had a team that conjured up a ton of attention and that pushed this thing out so that when we roll out something new, I don't have to reinvent the wheel. I don't know how to do a podcast like you do, but I bet some of our team do, right? So that's the point. It's amazing what you can do with a lot of really cool people.
Yeah. Well, I don't really know what I'm doing either, but man, I just take massive imperfect action. That's what I call it. And here we are today. Yeah. And been able to interview some of you guys, and you guys have provided so much value. So I ask everybody that comes on the podcast this: if there was one word that you could use to describe yourself, what would that one word be?
Gosh, that's really good. Dude, I'd say guts.
Guts. Okay, so part B of the question is, how has guts helped you get to the point to where you're at today?
Yeah, it's now when I see something, I know I can go get it. No matter how big it is, no matter how crazy it is, like I see something and I know because of past experiences, time and time again, that no matter what it is, I can go get it. And anything in life takes a lot of guts, right? Like if you ask me that question again in 90 days, I'll probably give you a different word, right? Sure. But today, I just believe I've stomached enough of the hard stuff and had guts along the way. And it's really finally starting to pay off a little bit.
Sure. Second question here real quickly as we get ready to close here in just a few minutes is, how does Cody Askins define success? What does success mean to Cody Askins?
Success means that there are, to me personally, there are tens of millions of people around the world that have gotten to a better place in their life because of us. And you notice I didn't say me, and I never said money. I said us because there's a lot of us's around here. Like I'm not like, can you imagine me setting this up with this incredible camera and this awesome mic with this iMac and all this tech stuff without Dylan? Yeah. No freaking chance. Right. So, and success is, that's what I define success as winning, like most people, they define success as money. They define success as $100,000. They define success as a millionaire. Like, dude, success. I also am never actually probably going to hit the success level that I want. And that's kind of the point, because for me, I'm not chasing a number. Yeah. I'm not chasing an amount. I'm chasing impact. I'm chasing difference. I'm chasing legacy. I'm chasing changing this industry forever. And personally, I won't view success, me successful, unless one day when I die, anybody says the word insurance and they don't think about what we did and what we're going to do. then I don't think I've achieved success at all.
Man, that's so good. And let me ask you this too. How has that definition changed from 20-something-year-old Cody Askins or 19-year-old? Can you give us a little bit of how that's changed?
Yeah, it was all money related. It was all selfish. It was all about me. It was, oh, wow, look at that Ferrari and that person and that, house. And like, I thought that stuff defined success. Like, I had a manager that told me, because I was doing really well at 20, 21 years old. And he was like, dude, he told somebody and I overheard him. And I've actually never said this before ever. Okay. So this may be a good TikTok or something. Who knows?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
He said, now I'm thinking through content as I'm talking, right? That's, I'm just used to that now. The manager said, he told somebody else, he said, Cody will be a millionaire before he's 30. Never shared that before. And that's what I thought success was.
Sure.
It's not. It's not.
Yeah. And what was the biggest breakthrough from that version to the version that you just gave us? Where was the biggest breakthrough? Was there a defining moment that you can think of, whether it was reading a book, attending an event, a mentor in your life?
Yeah, there's been, now we have dozens of people every single day around the world. One lady in Uganda, just earlier, by the way, that reach out and say, dude, you're making a difference, man. Like your content, how hard you push, everything that you're doing has made a massive impact and difference in my life. That's a form of success. And it's a heck of a lot more than the form of money.
Sure. No, I totally agree, man. You're spitting some serious fire here at the very end. And two more things here as we close.
Sure, you're good.
If there was somebody out there, because I'm interviewing people in the home-based business space, not only our arena, but just entrepreneurs in general in different spaces. If there's somebody watching this today and they're just hesitating, maybe taking a risk or betting on themselves, what is some wisdom that you would give them?
I would say outline the steps of what it's going to take to actually take that risk, right? And then just take a step and just see how it feels. Like if it's making a call to a mayor of your city, as a random silly example, if I had to get a hold of the mayor tonight in Springfield, Missouri, who I don't know, or I would expire, my body and my life would expire at midnight. Don't you think I could get a hold of the mayor? Right? Like if you were in the same example, it'd be easy, right? Especially in Tupelo. If you were in, if anybody else listening, like if you had to pull off something crazy like that, don't you think you could pull it off? Well, most people don't think of our life that way, when in reality, we only get it once. We don't know when the good Lord is going to take us. And a lot of us, there's a lot we want to accomplish before he does.
Yeah.
So let's accomplish it.
So why do you think so many people are afraid? What is it that's really holding them back from what you've seen from the clients that you've coached and the people that you've networked with? Yeah.
Most people evaluate their next moves based off their past experiences. Every single time. Like they're like, well, I don't know if I can make this step because of this. I don't know if I can do this because of him or her. I don't know if I can do this because of where I'm at financially. I don't know if I could do this. We always relate our next moves to our current or previous experiences. And in reality, every super successful person on the planet was broke at one point, had people that didn't believe them at some point, and that had past experiences that made their current moves very, very, very scary. But they still took the step anyway. Like I can tell you, if people struggle to get out of bed when their alarm clock goes off, or they say they're going to work out and they don't, or they say they're going to eat healthy and they don't, or they say they're going to do, or they say they're going to make calls and they don't. If you struggle with those minute, super little things, you will never have wealth and success in your life. It's impossible.
Yeah. Listen, guys, he just took you to Cody Askins' church there at the end. And I totally agree. Your past does not have to be predictive of your future. I believe that every successful leader realizes that you fail forward, right? You use it as a platform instead of a prison. That's what Cody's saying here today. And Cody, as we wrap up today, of course, I know where we can find you, but for somebody who may not have seen you before and they're watching this, where can we find you? What platforms are you on?
Well, I mean, I love YouTube at Cody Askins on YouTube. We just hit 50K on YouTube. I love people when they follow and DM and start conversations on Instagram at Cody.Askins. And then CodyAskins.com. And we've got what we really do at Cody Askins LLC is we have a couple masterminds to help early agents or superstars, power players. And we do a lot of events.
Sure. So what's next as we finish today? What's next? What's coming up for Cody Askins?
Yeah. So a 10-city roadshow around the country to really grow 8%. The conference will be in Houston, October 8th. We're going to go from Houston to Atlanta to Charlotte to Orlando to Philly to Cincinnati to Chicago to Kansas City to Denver to LA, like a lot of places. Yeah.
Sure. Well, I already got my fire ticket, man. So I'm looking forward to next year's 8% conference. And listen, guys, as we wrap up today, I just want to say thank you once again, Cody, being so generous with your time, bro. I know you're super, super busy, but as you're watching this today, I just want to remind you, you deserve to win, but Cody can't do it for you. I can't do it for you, but I pray that we infected you with something today that caused you to wake up, as Cody said, to push forward, to get out of that slumber and to chase your dreams, because I believe that all of you were made on purpose for a purpose. Thank you for tuning in today. God bless you guys, and we will talk to you soon.